we were pissing neon green every day.
The big ball of heat in the sky was too much.
I thought there was a bear.
Reality goes, yeah, fresco. That's what I'm saying.
Hey, everybody. What's up, everybody?
Welcome to
StouryTime.
StouryTime.
Hey everybody, welcome to StouryTime with John and Friends. I'm your host, John. Today's guest recently released a new single on November 15th titled Hurt Me Bad with her solo project, Pure XTC. Please welcome my new friend, Taylor Hughes. Taylor, thank you so much for coming on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. Why don't you tell the people a little bit about yourself?
Cool. I'm Taylor. I'm Pure XTC. It's still so weird saying that. I'm used to being a drummer. That's what I've done most of my life. Then the pandemic happened and Pure XTC just kind of flourished from the pandemic. So
very cool. So that's you kind of just decided to do that on your own during the pandemic?
After a few meltdowns, because so my bandmate Sal moved up to Buffalo. I was still in Jersey City. And the band was just kind of like in different places, you know, like both locationally and just in life. So I kind of felt like the band was kind of going to break up. It sounds dramatic. Like I still feel like I didn't break up with them because I still talk to them both like all the time.
Right.
But I was like, if I'm not in X Nations, what am I going to do? Like, I'm just a drummer. Like, how am I going to do music as just a drummer? And my wife was like, you can play other instruments. And I'm like, well, I don't sing. I can't sing. And she's like, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. And she still makes fun of me for my meltdown. I remember it like vividly. I was in Jersey City. There was a lot of snow on the ground. I was being a crybaby and just being like, I'm done with music. I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. Like, it's too hard. Like, band breakups, and literally the next day I was like, what do you think about the name Pure XTC? Nice. I'm like, our bounce back rate is probably unhealthy, but hey, it's efficient.
That's funny. I'm also a fellow drummer, so very cool. Yeah, so when did you start to learn like the other instruments, like guitar and everything?
So guitar was kind of like my parents' hope to quell me from wanting to play drums. Like they're like, oh, we'll just get her a guitar with no amp. Like it'll be way less noise. I was 5 when I started asking for a drum kit. Like I knew. And my mom put me in piano lessons and started me on violin because she really wanted me to learn how to read music. So that's kind of where I was for a while until my dad and I got the Musician's Friend catalog in the mail. You know those? Like,
oh yeah, I get a phone call from them once a month.
Yeah. So I'm like, Dad, I really need a drum kit, and we just bought it behind my mom's back, and that's how it all started. But I felt like I kind of had to relearn as I started Pure XTC. I didn't even have a guitar in the house at the time. Okay. So my friend and producer Walter, we were working at a music shop together when Sam Ash was still around, and he got me a Strat. He's like, here you go, pay me back for it when you can. Like somebody traded in this like 2000, like year 2000, just Mexican Strat, and it was $200. He's like, here, this is a tool you need to like start getting comfortable, and that's just kind of how it happened. And I sucked for a while. Like I was very frustrated relearning guitar.
Yeah.
It still frustrates me. Like I want it to feel as natural as drums do. You know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I understand. That's a very cool story though. It's like your origin story.
Scattered. I'm like, oh, I probably should have started from the beginning, but we did one of these.
No, it's fine. It's funny because it's you're like the way you just explained how everything started for you. It was very similar for me growing up. So I'm coming up on 30 years drumming. Before that, I played piano for years. And then at a very young age, my parents bought me a drum set or whatever, the same thing. And I kind of dabble in guitar a little. By no means would I ever say I play guitar, but I can play chords and stuff here and there.
Yeah.
And, so I envy you because you're doing something that I've always, wanted to do. I just never took the extra steps to like actually do it myself,
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Very cool.
I always tell people like I don't really have a choice when it comes to music. Like I always say like I'm getting tired, I'm gonna quit. I could never. Like I like physically would not be able to do it. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
I always tell people, I'm like, don't do music unless you absolutely have to. Like if it is not like in you, don't put yourself through it.
Absolutely. No, I feel that. I mean, I toured for, I don't know, almost 8 years, I think. And it takes a toll on you when you don't get, recognition after a certain amount of time. So I totally understand what you're saying there. So as far as like when you're writing, you just sit down at the computer and just wait till something comes to you, or like is there like a time of the day where you're like a song will pop in your head or a melody or something and you just record it on your voice notes and then you come home and you need to like put it down on, whatever?
It happens in all of the ways that you just mentioned. It's funny, last night, I literally did not sleep last night. I watched the sun come up this morning. I don't know why, my brain just would not stop. And I have some wild voice notes like in my phone from last night. So I was laying in bed and it was like 3 a.m. and my wife is sleeping and I'm trying not to wake her up, but I needed to commit it to my phone's memory because my memory is not it. It's not it. So I have like me trying to hum like a piano bass line into my phone, but like whispering. I listened to it this morning and I was so embarrassed for myself.
That's funny.
But a lot of times, like, it'll just be like one line that'll come in my head, like, just, oh, that's a cool phrase. And I just repeat it and repeat it all day until I get home and I can chill in my little dark room here. I have my setup over here. It's like a machine and, a couple synths. So I usually start off with the beat or output. Have you ever messed around with output?
I have not used output. No, I usually just use Logic to record and hit enter and move on,
Yes. Okay, cool. So I use Logic as well. So this is just like a plugin and it's called Arcade by Output. And it just has like a lot of like really interesting like loops and things like that can just get you going creatively to where you're like, let me get my idea together before I keep talking. Sometimes it's nice to just pick a key and find a cool loop that feels inspiring.
Okay.
And then I'll start adding my own instrumentation around that loop and then eventually delete it. But in some songs, the loop has stayed, like Fall Apart, that like meh, 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 at the beginning of it where it sounds like a little like cherub singing. That's a loop from Output that just like really inspired me, and the rest of the song came out in like 10 minutes. So some of the original loops stayed, but I replaced the ones that were supposed to be organic instruments because that felt like cheating. I was like, damn it, fine, I'll record the guitar.
Very cool. So this is the finished product. Are you kind of just doing that all at home in your own little studio?
So I do a majority of it. I try and get the song as far as I can take it, and then I'll send it to my producer, Walter, and he'll kind of like take it from there.
Okay.
And it's so nice because I used to work with him from my old band. He knows exactly what I like. I even have like drum samples from when I recorded there before. So he has everything. He knows what I like. So when I send it to him, I never have to worry, like, is the song gonna like take a weird turn? He always knows exactly what I want. And, lately I've been getting the songs even closer to where I want them. So a lot of it now is just like him polishing and adding additional synths and,
That's great. So you mentioned your most recent release, Hurt Me Bad, or I'm sorry, Hurt Me Bad is your most recent release. The release before that was Fall Apart, right?
And Mood Ring was before that.
Mood Ring. Okay. Yeah. So you've released all these new singles, which are all great. I really enjoyed them. So this is supposed to be for a score for a film?
So Hurt Me Bad was in the film that I scored. It's called Rangoon. And it's about like two like skater chicks like around Kansas City. It was just kind of following them skating around. And the director is like, I want it to feel like a third character. The music really needs to feel like a third character. And kind of like the underlying feeling of the movie was wanting something that the city doesn't really give back to you. Like the streets awful. Like it is hard to skate on these streets.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, she was so driven, but then she ended up hurting herself because the sidewalks are a wreck. And I quickly just like, as soon as he said that, I was like, okay, something that I love that hurts me, music, got it. I was able to just, feed from that. And it was like, kind of like a journal entry is what the song felt like.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go into it being like, this needs to be a chorus, this needs to be this and that. I just kind of ranted through the song. And I didn't expect for it to be a single. I was just writing it for the movie. And then I was like, wow, I actually like this. This is kind of a vibe. I'm just going to release it and see what happens.
That's sick. That's awesome. Congratulations on that as well. You've also been in another movie as well, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's called Midwest Skid Mark. I just had to say the name.
I love that. You said Kansas City. Ew. Just kidding.
Ugh, Buffalo. And I hate how good you guys are this year.
Listen, I don't know what else the refs can do to make the Chiefs win
You better stop.
on a weekly basis. Can I just tell you, like, I legitimately have never thought in my life that the NFL was scripted until this season.
It is pretty freaking bad. Like
I'm telling you, there's no way that the Chiefs just keep winning the way they win. It makes no sense to me because they're playing the worst football they've ever played.
They are. Like, they're not clicking, and they keep making excuses for it, and it sucks. Like, Patrick has such, like, a high IQ in football. Like, the man knows what he can do and how he can win football games. So we could be playing the worst football ever, but Patrick's playing chess. He knows what he can do.
But here's the thing with that, though, right? So, like, specifically against the Raiders, that ending is absurd.
It's awful.
There's no way. There's no way that you snap that ball early, and then there was a call. A ref made a call that would have prevented the game from ending that way, and they just ignored it.
Bye.
I just don't get it.
It's disgusting. Just let me tell you, as a Chiefs fan, I've been disgusted this whole season, besides when they show Taylor Swift. That is the only time that I'm happy.
I'm not even going to go there.
I just had to. I'm like, I know you're like a diehard Bills fan, so
season ticket holder, all that. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. I want you guys to win a Super Bowl. Like, I really do.
I am just dying for a Super Bowl championship, but yeah.
I mean, y'all deserve it this year. Like, Allen's playing
lights out. Best
football, I feel like.
Yeah, and he's not going to win MVP. It'll go to somebody else.
You don't think so? I feel like
they're just going to it's a Buffalo thing. He just gets snubbed every year, He's the most overrated, remember? They voted him the most overrated quarterback in the NFL.
That's ridiculous. Like,
at the beginning of the season.
Overrated. I would not.
Every analyst said that the Bills were they lost their window. This is the best we've played in, you know what I mean? Like, Diggs held us back. Diggs gave up on plays all last season because he's a little crybaby. I mean, it's crazy. We're probably pissing people off talking football. But.
Hey, if people follow me, they know. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
They know.
Listen, I respect Patrick Mahomes, although I hate him because he's just our new Tom Brady. He's that obstacle that the Bills need to try and get over every time. And it's like, great, we can beat him in the regular season, but what happens in the playoffs is what matters, and that's the shit that kills me.
I know. You sound like a Ravens fan right now because that's Lamar too.
I mean, I think the Ravens are what's the term I would use? I think they are a joke. I think that they are not nearly as good as people thought they were. Because they do what the Bills do. I will admit this. I've been going to Bills games for my whole life. I've had seasons for years. They play down to their opponent, and that's what the Ravens do. That's why you're losing to the Steelers. That's why, you know what I mean? You're losing to the Browns. How are you losing to the Browns? You know what I mean? Come on.
I just have to say I'm from Baltimore.
Okay.
I used to live down the street from their stadium, from the bank, and it was Ravens fans that made me hate the Ravens as much as I do. Win or lose, they're vandalizing stuff.
Yeah, that's
Like, I'm like, every game I'd be like, well, where am I going to park today that's going to make me hate them less?
Yeah,
So-
I personally I don't love the Bills Mafia title. I think that's really silly and goofy.
It's a little ICP.
I get the idea behind it, but it's like we're the Bills. I don't know. It's just
Yeah.
douchey. I don't know.
Big insane clown posse like energy, and it has
Oh yeah.
the Bills. It's just the name, and then some of the fans that you see going through tables.
Well,
Now,
that's the stuff that like it goes viral, and they're the ones that like make a bad name for the Bills fans, and
Yeah.
that's why you like I've grown to not really enjoy that name because I mean I don't need to see a man taking a shot of alcohol off a girl's asshole. You know what I mean? Like I just don't need to see it. It just makes everybody in Buffalo look stupid. But yeah.
yeah, I'll stop talking football now. The last thing I will say is the only game that I've been to at Arrowhead, we lost to the Bills. It was last
Hell yeah.
week. I was so upset.
That's funny. Hey, you guys always win when it matters, and that's unfortunate for the Bills, but not this year. Not this year. Not with the way they're playing.
Just give us our three-peat, and you can have whatever
No
you.
way. No way, because if they don't go to the Super Bowl, Travis Kelce's gone, then we don't have to see Taylor Swift on that freaking TV anymore. Like, move the fuck on.
Killing me right now.
Josh Allen just got engaged to Haley Steinfeld.
Boring.
Boring? She's a great actress. She's a great actress, a great singer.
Never heard of her.
Seriously?
I've never heard of her until the engagement, and then I saw like
Pitch Perfect. Did you see Bumblebee, the Transformers movie?
That's
her.
Pitch Perfect. Which one was she in that?
So she's in the third one, I believe. She's like the new one that comes in, and she like sings her own song.
Oh, I haven't gotten that deep. My wife has only made me watch the first one.
Oh, I love those movies. I'm a nerd.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a whirl. I love a rom-com. Is it like a rom-com vibe?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can get into that.
All right, back to music.
Back to music.
Sorry, everybody. Let's see. What were some of your major influences while writing, the most recent songs?
Don't judge me.
Taylor Swift.
And it's because I'm obsessed with her producer, Jack Antonoff. Okay. That's really where it stems from. I was not like a Swiftie until she started working with him. So a lot of it was like Jack Antonoff inspired. Silver Sun Pickup somehow, like still from high school. I'm constantly inspired by them. They're big, like beautiful fuzzy sounds. Mm-hmm. I love layering distorted tones, like especially with synths. What else have I been listening to? Joji. I'm all over the place. Odessa has been a big influence for me lately.
Okay.
I'm trying really hard not to genre hop, but everything has been like very Odessa lately.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm working on my full length right now, so I'm trying to listen to a lot of different stuff, so I don't just kind of like hone into like one specific artist. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense, because I'll do that and not even realize it.
Right. Mm-hmm. When do you have plans of releasing that?
I'm gonna spread it out through next year.
Okay. You're gonna shop it, or you're just gonna do self-release?
I really should shop it, but I don't like group projects, Mm-hmm. I've gotten used to being a solo artist, and I work really well with my producer, and I have a manager, and I kind of just like doing stuff on my own. Right. I don't know. Now that you've said that, I was like, wow, maybe I really should shop it. I just didn't even consider. I'm like, let me just put music out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just be careful with that. Not all labels are looking out for the best interests of the artist, unfortunately. It sucks to say that, but it's definitely true.
Yeah.
So kind of going back to the music videos. So as far as like the ideas behind them, so for Hurt Me Bad, obviously that was kind of, the music video was based around the film, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just like a standalone.
Yeah. So were you there for like all the roller skating and all that stuff, or you just kind of did the stuff on the tennis court and then they did the rest of it?
Yeah, just the tennis court. We shot it like months after. I think they probably shot that movie last year.
Oh, okay.
And then in springtime, Phil, he also directs all of my music videos. He's like, "Hey, you want to score something?" It's like, "Yeah, I've been waiting. Thank you. Like,
That's
let's
awesome.
do it." So it's really, really easy to just work with him because I've done 3 videos with him now.
What's it like? What is it? What's the process of scoring for a video? Because it's like you may have an idea in your head, but are they looking for a specific sound and they're kind of like, this is what we're kind of thinking of, and you kind of build off of that? Or they're just like, you have total creative, you can go do whatever you want to do?
Originally, they were like, "We want like Midwest emo," and I was like, "I'm not that good at guitar, guys. I'm not doing no Midwest emo. It's not going to be right. But I can do my typical sound if that works for you."
Hmm.
And like, yeah, they sent me a couple like Sigrid songs, and what else did he send? He's very into like the girly indie pop that I like, so
Okay.
that helped a lot. I was like, cool, I can do this. I know exactly what you're going for. He just wanted it to feel soft and like, I don't want to say ethereal, but it was kind of ethereal.
Okay.
And a lot of the tones were used in Hurt Me Bad. I kind of built the whole like short film up to Hurt Me Bad. What else did he send me? M83 was another one.
Okay.
So that was very easy for me. I'm like, okay, so big drums and synth. Got it.
Simple as that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So usually I have people on to come on and share some stories from traveling, touring, anything like that. You got any stories for us?
I've got some stories. I made notes of them because I
Let's
always
dive right
in the moment. Tell me what you want to hear based off of these words.
Okay.
Mystery gummies in the desert, ghost of the hotel room, or cherubs.
All right, let's do the gummies first.
Okay. So in 2022, I won the Emerging Artist Contest for the Dinosaur, which is the biggest female party in the world, I think. It's just a big old lesbian party. I was thrilled.
Wait, you're gay? No, I'm kidding.
It's best. What? Oh, I'm what they would call 100-footer. You can tell.
Okay.
It's just an energy. So I won this contest. It's been a dream of mine ever since seeing the L Word when I was secretly watching it, like in the basement when I was a teenager. I was not allowed to watch the L Word.
Mm-hmm.
Cinemax at night, no. So there was an episode about the dinosaur on this show, and it's like, that looks like a great time. It's 13,000 women packed into Margaritaville in Palm Springs.
That sounds sick. That sounds so rad.
So they had us come in the day before, like everything is happening. And my wife and I are like, cool, we've got Margaritaville to ourselves before the debauchery begins. And we sit in the hot tub, and the straight couple comes and sits down in the hot tub, and we're like, man, for real? Like this weekend we get stuck in the hot tub with the straight couple? Okay, whatever. So they get in and they're like, so do you girls know what's happening this weekend? They're making everybody leave. We couldn't extend our trip. And I was like, I don't think you would like it, but this is what's happening. And the husband's like, I wish I could stay for that. I'm like, I bet you do, Paul. I bet you do. So Thursday night, that's when we got in. We were chilling, enjoying Palm Springs. And the next day was the showcase that I was playing. It starts the whole weekend festival. That's the spot that I won. So after my set, because the music is not the important part here, it was a great set. I had a fantastic time. We were outside hanging out. Everybody's like chit-chatting or whatever. And this like beautiful older woman comes up to us and it's like, "You girls want a gummy?" And she just pulls these loose gummies out of her purse. And I'm like, if this is where I die, I'm happy. We took the gummies from a stranger's purse, collection. Beautiful night. It was a beautiful, beautiful night. And we had kind of like an assistant for the evening.
Okay.
Her name was Brenda. Freaking loved Brenda.
Shout out Brenda.
Yeah, and she did not give Brenda vibes. Like she was like younger than me, had like this really cool like shaved haircut. Loved Brenda. She just had a bottle of Tito's for us. Whenever we were like, "Brenda, we need another drink," she would bring us more Tito's.
That's
and then drove us home in the minivan, like back to the hotel. I don't want to play shows unless it's like that. Like that's when I'm
That's totally fair. Once you've been at the top, you want to stay there.
exactly. That was Mecca. That was where I peaked.
That's awesome. Congratulations on winning that. That sounds like it was a good time. So you're assuming it was just THC?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The crossfade felt familiar.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh yeah, it's fine. It's
We've
fine.
been here before.
We've been here before, and I'm friends with her on Instagram. She gave us some quality product.
Hell yeah, love that. So, how much touring have you done over the years?
When I was younger, I was doing a lot more touring. So I was in this band called Car Party in like the early 2000s. It was, what you would expect a band called Car Party to sound like. We were lucky enough to get on a tour with Every Avenue and Set It Off, and that was the biggest tour I had ever done. I think it was like 30 dates.
Okay.
And that was probably the biggest tour I've ever done.
Every Avenue. I haven't heard that name in years.
Right? I think they're back.
Are they?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's coming back now.
Yeah, I guess so. Everybody's doing their 20, 25 year, all that shit right now, which is wild.
Yeah. I've been noticing that in my day job. So I do music marketing during for a merch company called Merch Table.
Okay.
So we're working with like the Get Up kids, and that's been very cool. Like young Taylor has been freaking out.
Yeah. Matt is supposed to be on the podcast. We've been talking. So I'm excited for that one because Something to Write Home About is my #1 record of all time.
Yes.
So I'm hopefully it actually happens, but we've been talking on Instagram and fingers crossed.
You want me to nudge?
No. Don't do that. Just because I know. Yeah, I don't like if he changes his mind, then he changes his mind. You know what I mean? I don't want to be that podcast. But anybody else, you can absolutely nudge him my way.
I'm just gonna send a mass email. They're really.
I mean, I'm open to it. Very cool. That's awesome. That sounds like it's a really, really fun job. Cool job.
Yeah, it's stressful, but I mean, it's what I've wanted like my entire life. Like besides the music part of things, I love the marketing side. Very cool. I've finally landed in my big girl job that I like.
That's awesome. Very cool. What is your favorite place to play aside from your hometown?
Ooh. Like this changes every year. Normally I would say New York. I love playing in New York, like the little Lower East Side corner. I love hanging out there, or Brooklyn. This is hard. I feel like my favorite place to play I haven't played yet.
Okay. All right. Let me change the question then.
Okay.
What's your most memorable show that you've played?
Ooh, my first show as Pure Ecstasy was at Pride in Kansas City. Ooh. And I figured that it wouldn't be like a huge show because Kansas City's small and cute. And I was like, I'll be fine. They'll probably put me on early and there won't be a lot of people there. Oh my God, I was terrified. I drove by and saw the stage, and it was like one of those big freaking like festival stages with a catwalk. I
Mhm.
was like, what did I get myself into? I've never played guitar in front of anybody before.
When you perform, do you perform solo with tracks or do you bring a band with you?
So I used to just do solo with tracks, but I've had a live drummer recently, and that has
Okay.
been fantastic. He plays exactly the way I would want things, but better.
Okay.
He
That's
grew
great.
up he grew up during the scene era, you
Mhm.
know, and those are my favorite kinds of drummers. They can do anything. Like he's absolutely insane. So it's made me less nervous playing live now because I'm just enjoying hearing what he's doing so
Mhm.
much that I'm not thinking about anything in front of me. We just vibe.
That's awesome. I love that. Okay. Do you have another story for us?
Yeah, I do. It
Let's hear the
involves
ghost one.
Okay. So this is when we were in California this last summer. So it was my wife and I, and then Claire and Blair are like besties. They're a couple, Claire and Blair. And Blair is my drummer. And so he used to live in LA. He went to school there. I can't remember the school right now. It's a music school out there for drumming. He majored in drumming, and he had like friends out there, so they were really excited to like party with their friends. And we were playing at Hotel Ziggy on the Sunset Strip, so we were ready to party because we were staying at the hotel we were playing at. So like those 2 days were kind of like you know,
Mhm.
we were having fun after we played. So the day before the show, Claire was like, "Hey, I want to meet up with one of my friends. Like, he moved from Kansas to LA. I just want to hang out with him or whatever." So we went out to this little Mexican spot, within walking distance to our place, and we were all just drinking tequila. Everything was cool. Um, we're old, so my wife and I went back to the hotel room after we had like a couple drinks. We're like, "Cool, bye. We're gonna go back to the hotel." We fall asleep. We wake up, and I guess their friend came back with them to the hotel, but we didn't know. Like, we just woke up and saw him standing in the corner.
Mhm.
So we were calling him like the ghost of Hotel Ziggy because we had no idea that he was there. And I woke up in the middle of the night, I see something, and I'm like, "Whoa." And I just immediately lay back down. I was that concerned. I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm going back to sleep."
If I
And
die, I die.
if I die, I die. I'm cool. I've made peace with this. I'm going back to sleep. And apparently he was like, so it's a double hotel room.
Mhm.
Yeah, our bed's over here, Claire and Blair's bed's over here, and their friend slept between the wall and the bed. So I wouldn't have seen him, but we woke up and he was like kind of like coming out of the closet or something, I think. I don't really know. But the next morning he was gone. So we're like looking around, we're like, "Was there someone else here last night?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, he crashed on the floor. He left his glasses and stuff there." Like, how did this young man get home?
That's funny. That is too funny. Um, so have you done any like music festivals or anything like that over the
Yeah.
years? Yeah.
So I played a festival in San Diego the day before, a couple days before we went to LA. It was called Out and About because I love my gay festival. So we did that. I played a festival called Girl Camp this year in Nebraska, which is really cool, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's geared towards females and female musicians just to make it like a comfortable atmosphere.
Mhm.
They do like workshops, and it's very, very cute. So I got to do that this year. Indigo D'Souza played. Like, do I have the poster up? Like, I need a lineup poster. Um, and then the rest of the year was pretty much just like pride festivals. I think I played like 10 of them this
Very
year.
cool.
I
So
was,
you're heavily supported by LGBTQ, obviously.
yeah, and it's like
That's
the most
awesome.
comfortable place to play too. You
Yeah.
never have
Yeah.
to think about like, "Oh, is it going to be weird if I'm like holding my wife or something like that?"
Mhm.
Like it's very, very comfortable,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Very cool. I'm assuming that's a very judgment-free feeling zone, when you're in those settings.
Yeah, it's never like sometimes we'll be out in public and I'll touch her butt. And she's like, stop, I'm not putting on a free show. I'm like, no one's even looking at you. But it's just kind of that like awareness that you have to have sometimes.
Yeah.
And at Pride, you don't have to, it's really nice.
That's great. I love that. Do you have any pre-show rituals or superstitions?
Besides anxiety attacks? I'm just kidding. I'm still nervous singing in front of people. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
I'm getting better though. Pre-show rituals, especially since most of my shows are out of town. I really like watching Twilight in the hotel room.
Okay.
It works. I am zen when I get to the show, and I'm sticking with it. I try and watch Twilight before every show now. The original one.
Okay. Kristen Stewart really calms you.
She does something.
That's hilarious. I sang harmonies and stuff when I played in my band for the over the years. So I understand, like, I can't even imagine standing in front of the people instead of behind the drums where I'm fucking hidden. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is a nice feeling, being hidden.
Yeah. It's like you have like a shield around you of protection that you don't have to worry about because honestly, back there, no one is really paying attention to see if you're singing or not. So
exactly. And even though the weight of the world is on your shoulders, keeping time to like backing tracks and all of that, it still feels more comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I always played with the click as well. So
yeah,
it was just an extra little comfort thing there too.
I used to be so afraid of playing with a click when I was like, I don't know, maybe like 5 years in. And it was like a dumb fear. I was like so stubborn about it. I'm like, I don't need it. I can keep time. It's fine. And then I finally played with one. I was like, I was being so stupid. This is so much easier. I don't have to think anymore.
Yeah. You feel it. It's just it's like it's pulsating through you while it's going in your ears. Yeah.
I'm so mad at my lost 5 years. Those could have been a great 5 years playing with a click track.
Yeah. But see, the thing for me is like now I kind of rely on that. If someone's like, I don't want to play to a click, I'm like, but
sure?
But I'm going to like rush or I'm going to go slow and you're going to feel it. Yeah, but I want that natural feeling. All right. I'll do what you want, but I'm not going to like it kind of thing.
Yeah. It does feel very, very weird.
Yeah. Do you have any interesting fan interactions?
More so back in my younger days. I'm such an old married woman now. Like fan interactions are more so like, you guys are so cute. I love you guys together. And everyone's so respectful and sweet. But back when I was younger, like I had one girl follow me back to my hotel room, and that was kind of freaky.
Yeah, a little stalkerish.
And like, yeah, I don't want to go too deep into that one. But
that's fair. What about any like life-threatening experiences?
Nothing really like that. I remember one time we were leaving New York to go back to Baltimore in our van that we named Roscoe Codinger. Is like a Chevy, like one of those big, robust vans with the curtains and everything. We had people like jump on the back of our van while we were stopped. It was really weird. I'm like, New York is wild. So they just jumped on the back of the van and were trying to ride it onto the highway. So we had to stop and get out. And I mean, I didn't get out. I'm a lady. I let the guys in the van deal with that. And this was during the time where we went on this tour, I guess, a couple weeks beforehand. It was through the Midwest. And you know how there's always like the sketchy like sex shops and smoke shops on the way out?
Yeah.
So we just casually had this like 24-inch double-sided dildo in our van.
Okay.
And I just remember our tour manager swatting at one of the people with the dildo. And it was a beautiful thing, like seeing somebody actually get taken down by a big blueberry scented double-sided dildo.
Okay, so now a close friend of mine, Matt Watanek, shout out Matt, he's been on the show. He claimed on the show that every band has a dildo in their van. And I was like, dude, that's not true. I don't know anybody aside from you guys that have had dildos in their van. So now you're number 2 of the 63 episodes I've released. You are the you are the second person to say that. So, Matt, you got another, okay?
Brother.
He shared a story that they were crossing the border and into Canada or back from Canada, either or, and they got pulled over and the border patrol was going through the van and there was a big black dildo under the driver's seat. And then I guess the guy was just like, "Hey, what do you do with that thing under the chair or under the seat?"
No.
Yeah, so
he's trying to get in on it. He's like, "What do you guys do?"
And then they were like, what thing? And then they just, I guess they laughed it off or whatever and left. But yeah, that's
Oh
funny.
my God.
So Matt, you got another one.
Yeah, that dildo almost broke my big toe at one point because we were playing around with it, like swinging it around, and somebody went down, like, ow. Like, that would have been really embarrassing if my only bone that I ever broke was my toe from a dildo. And thank God it was just bruised.
Such an absurd statement. What would be your dream tour?
Ooh, I'd be so nervous.
Dead or alive?
Metric. I would just die to tour with Metric. Robin. Who else would I tour with? I'm like, let me just turn around really quick. Bright Eyes, even though we don't even mesh sonically. Would love that. Really any of those like nostalgic early 2000s like indie bands, I would just be thrilled.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I listen to your music, I get kind of a like 1985 vibe. Do you ever hear that?
No.
I get that like kind of undertone, like Brit pop, like really bass driven. I definitely get that. So I don't know.
I like it. I mean, I like The Cure. That's one of my biggest influences. Like all of that, like, what did they call it back then? I guess post punk. Like,
I guess.
Yeah, like Depeche Mode and Joy Division and all of those. Like,
Yeah.
I kind of grew up just ingesting that constantly.
Okay.
Like Bowie, like just all of it. So I feel like it's just kind of like crumbled into one sound, and it comes out more in some songs than others. I feel like a lot of my new stuff sounds more modern.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
I think specifically Fall Apart, I kind of get that vibe.
Yeah.
Because it's got that real like bassy driven, that kick going throughout it. Yeah.
Yeah, and that side chain just like pushes it.
Yeah, with the synth and everything too. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Sheets or Wawa?
Wawa.
Elaborate.
I mean, it's hands down always Wawa. I get my soft pretzel. That's what I start with. You got to get a hoagie for later. I usually get like an Italian hoagie and a pack of Skittles, and I'm good for a road trip. That's it. That's all I need.
Love that.
I miss Wawa out here. Quick Trip is not it.
Where do you reside? Are you in Kansas City? You are?
Yeah.
Okay. For some reason, I thought you were in New York City.
I was. I miss her. It was, we left during the pandemic. Like, my wife is from here. And she's like, we got to go back. Like, this is scary. Like, we can't get groceries. We need to move. Yeah, that is valid. And it was supposed to be like 2 years. And then we ended up making a lot of friends. And God, it's so affordable here.
Yeah, I believe it. It's New York State sucks for anything, really.
Yeah.
When it comes to money. What is the funniest moment you can think of from touring?
Oh, man. I should have waited to tell my dildo story. I'm going to go with the Cherubs one. So on our LA party, I don't even know what to call it. We'll call it a haze, our LA haze after the show. We were just so overjoyed because those were our first two shows playing together, me and Blair. We're both like whiskey drinkers. So we were just drinking whiskey in the hotel room. All of our friends were in the hotel room. Like I felt like I was in high school again. And I was living for it. I was like, you know what? It's fine. We don't do this very often anymore. Let's have fun. And I feel like everyone in that hotel hated us. Like it was a nice hotel. Like if you look at Hotel Ziggy, it's very nice. We should not have been there. We were out by the pool, all of us, like all of Blair's friends. Like he probably had like 7 or 8 friends still there at this point. Erica, my wife, and Claire were just filming us because we were just that stupid. And we were trying to pose like cherubs. And
Okay.
I'll send you the picture of it. Like it kind of looks more like a plank, but we're doing like this towards each other and making a noise in the video. And that's probably the funniest thing because I didn't realize there were a lot of people out there that we didn't know. So watching that back the next day, the shame that washed over us, we were all like, we're going to get an Airbnb next time.
That's funny.
Trying to have fun.
That is funny. Okay. I just have a few more questions for you here. Was there a live performance that you saw as a child or younger that made you want to pursue a music career?
Well, it all started with the Spice Girls.
Hell yeah.
Just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Hey, the first concert I ever went to was NSYNC Bye 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 tour, No Strings Attached tour at the Ralph Wilson Stadium.
Damn. I mean,
Hell
the
yeah.
production. How could you ever go to another like regular show again?
I
Like
was in
that.
like the last row, like in the 300s.
Could you see them?
Yeah, you could see it because they had the big screens and everything.
Screens,
But
yeah.
I had a crush on the one of the girls from what was that pop Dream? Do you remember
Yeah.
the pop band Dream? That girl pop band? Yeah. So I was
Iconic.
like, I'm going, and my sister was pissed because her little brother went with her.
Aw. It's so funny. She's embarrassed and you're just like,
Yeah, I got to use the binoculars for that.
Yeah. That was your moment.
That was my moment.
That's so good. Gosh, I would say when I saw Silver Sun Pickups for the first time, like I still remember this show. And I think I was probably in like 9th or 10th grade. And I was already trying to do music at that point, but I had never been obsessed with a band the way that I was with them. I remember learning how to play drums because that's around the time I got a drum kit. And I was obsessed with their drummer's style. Like, I don't know if you've seen them before, like play live.
No, I've never seen him live.
His crash is so unnecessarily high. Like, you have to do this.
Yeah, that's
Like, stupid. This dumb bitch did it because he did it. Like, I learned how to play that album front to back after seeing them live. Like, I adjusted my drum kit the same way. Like, everything was the same. And I can still play that album, like, from memory, like, front to back.
yeah.
And girl.
There's a couple of records like that for me. In middle school when I started taking it seriously. But yeah, it's funny when you see like I find I don't do it as much, but like I used to just stare. I'd go to concerts and I wouldn't focus on anything other than the drummer, because that's all I would give a shit about. And then I go home and be like, I gotta try this or whatever, But that's funny.
Yeah, we're on the same page there for sure.
Yeah,
Now it's
absolutely.
weird watching other people like on the stage because now I'm like, well, I'm honing in on other skills. Let me watch the singer for once.
Mm-hmm.
I still like, I'm doing one of these, going back to the drummer, looking at the gear.
Yeah. What's in the future?
So a full length, that's kind of like my main focus right now.
Mhm.
My goal for next year is to play outside of the United States as Pure Ecstasy. I have applications submitted to places I don't even know how I'm going to get to, but I'll figure it out. That's kind of like my MO this year. Like it's time for growth outside of my regular circuit.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier this year, Fall Apart made it into Birkenstock and Harvey Nichols stores across the UK and Europe.
That's awesome.
And
Congrats on
thank you. I started seeing my numbers go up there. So then I was like, well, maybe I should start targeting these places with my music.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like my top 5 cities, like they're not here. Like I am itching to go to the UK. Like it's not even like an itch. Like I just need to do it. I've never been before.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bucket list to be able to play over there. So South by Southwest is starting a London festival. So I submitted
that's cool.
that. Let's just see what happens. If I don't get any, that's okay. But at least I tried.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's very cool. I hope that works out for you. If there's anything else you want to share, now would be the time.
My next song, Drive, is coming out in February. It's the end of the trilogy. So I had Fall Apart, Mood Ring, and then Drive is the last one. And I honestly think it's the best one.
Absolutely. Everybody keep your ears peeled for that because I definitely will be waiting for that song as well. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. I really enjoyed chatting with you.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, make sure you check out her music, everything she's got going on. Keep your ears peeled for the full length. Check out the songs that she's recently released as well as her old catalog. Anything she's got going on will be down below in the description. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Bye, bitch.